Summer in the Soul. Dear Editor, howling blizzards sweep over the rolling brown fields. Hours seem like days, all in one dreary monotone. The snow and cold send humanity shivering indoors. Such is life on the rolling prairies of North Dakota in winter. Rural folk do not see their friends for weeks in succession. We find time hanging heavy on our hands, for we cannot afford the blessing of radio, magazines, papers, and books we would like. What is there left to do? Books of the right sort are great companions. These we borrow from our state library. There is music, for we have a piano, and all the family play and sing. Lest we forget, we have made a poster of these words of Malcolm McLeod and hung it where all may see. It is common things that quench thirst, not rare things. Ordinaries, not luxuries. Not palatial houses, but a home. Not royal wine, but cold water. Good health, kind friends, encouraging words, loving deeds, duty done, heartaches healed, a grasp, a clasp, a kiss, a smile, a song, a welcome. These are the beams that bring summer into the soul and make us light-hearted, free, and glad. Live simply then. Enjoy the present moment. Do the duty next to you. Speak the kind word waiting to be spoken. Do the kind deed tarrying to be done. Never will you pass this more. Never will you be privileged to see this particular spot again. The next time you come by, it will be different. Something will be added. Something will be wanting. Something will be changed. Keep your heart free from hate, your mind from worry. Live simply, exact little, give much, sing often, pray always. Ruth, North Dakota. Serene and unafraid. Dear Editor, we live on the shores of Lake Superior, and though we haven't everything to make our home beautiful, the scenery around us compensates for that. From my windows, I can see a majestic rock that rises perpendicularly from the water. It is a picture, and a number of artists have painted it. It seems to give me strength in times of trouble because it is unchanging, silently facing bad weather or good. I have written a little poem trying to express its beauty. Old Palisade will always stand, like a queen so stately grand, her majestic head held high as she looks on lake and sky. She gathers ice from spray and decks herself in draperies gay, while the rocks seem glad to greet the waters washing at her feet. So serene and unafraid, through the storm stands Palisade. While the waves reach up to tell, let the northeast blizzard swell. And the seagulls' shrill, sharp cry she flings back as they fly by. Other hills mock not her ways, her crown is blueberries summer days. And the lighthouse gleam afar twinkles like a distant star, winking at old Palisade, whose beauty will not die or fade. Nora, Minnesota. Who never knows defeat? Dear Editor, just before Thanksgiving, we had some very dear friends visit us, a used-to-be prosperous farmer, his wife, and children. The little lady had always had a cheerful, jolly disposition, never seemed to take life seriously. Though she had been a hustler, she never appeared to worry if her plans were upset. But now, since I had learned of their misfortune, I thought probably she might be different. Their beautiful country home, their life savings, had been taken from them through a mortgage foreclosure. If I had expected any different in her, I was certainly surprised, for she was her same dear jolly self. Only once did she mention their misfortune. "I know God will provide a way," she said, "if we will only trust in Him and do our best." So the dear, brave heart had thought more deeply than I had thought, and although she secretly grieved for their lost home, she was ready to begin all over again. She smiled, and in that smile I saw her very soul, the soul of a fighter, one who never gives up, who never knows defeat. As she was about to leave, I helped her with her coat. It was thin and especially worn at the elbows. Her toil-worn hands were gloveless. I watched her climb into the wagon beside her husband. They now had nothing but the wagon to ride in, having sold their car to pay a note at the bank. She seemed proud of her husband, and he of her, and the children of both of them. I watched them until they passed from sight, then I walked slowly into the house. All that had occurred had put me under my thinking cap. Surprised, Oklahoma. Say, aren't you thankful now? Dear Editor, my daughter, a sophomore in college, has for her roommate a lovely young girl of 20 who is crippled as a result of an infantile paralysis. She wears a brace on her leg and will always be lame. The last time daughter was home, she placed a little typewritten poem on my desk saying, "Doris wrote this." When I see someone limping too, a bit worse than the way I do, I think, say, aren't you thankful now that you walk fairly well somehow? But as I further meditate, I'm glad that God kept most folks straight, so I can watch them go their way and try to stride like them someday. When I finished reading it, tears came to my eyes. If a young girl, handicapped as Doris is, could write, say, aren't you thankful now, and I'm glad that God made most folks straight, we who are sound in body and limb should be able to find abundant causes for thanksgiving. Mother of Doris's chum, Michigan. Pray, not forgetting to run. Dear Editor, the December success story in The Farmer's Wife, Pray But Run, was simply wonderful. It reminded me of the saying, pray as though everything depended on prayer, but also work as though all depended on work. I believe Mrs. Putnam has adopted a motto which lends itself practically to our present time. When we are at our wits' end as to what to do to meet expenses, let us pray, but not stop there. Let us also run and do with our might what our hands find to do. Some of us have grown tired of working, and saving until it seems impossible to do more. No time for recreation or enjoyment. Have you ever tried the little game of feasting on the joys of achievements? Do you remember when you finished with house cleaning, how pretty each clean, orderly room looked? Did you take time to enjoy the thrill of finished labor? Then there was the new experiment with pie, a different combination of fruit which tasted so good that the hired man could not resist asking, "May I have another piece of that pie?" Yes, and the kitchen looked terrible until it was repapered with some long-forgotten paper up in the attic. Just another joy of achievement. Curtains. Who has not wondered where new ones were to come from? But look, really, there are new ones after all. Unbleached muslin and several packages of bias tape did the job. I hardly believe there is a place in the world where more joys of achievement find birth than in the home. So let us pray, not forgetting to run. The two combined will surely bring us innumerable blessings. Achieving, South Dakota. Chuck full of sunshine. Dear Editor, I used to think we were depriving our children of the many advantages the city children have with all their fine libraries, museums, and the wonderful city school system. But after all, these great libraries are not necessary to the growing child any more than elaborate foods are. We can get free lending service from the many libraries located in every state. It is true the city schools are well equipped with gymnasiums and indoor swimming pools and all sorts of modern conveniences, but they are a poor substitute for outdoor playgrounds. It takes money for city folks to supply their children with fresh air, while our world is just chock full of it. Sunshine to the growing child is as necessary as food. City children must get it at expensive summer beaches or by electric sun lamps, but it costs us nothing. Play requires safety and plenty of space. Surely there isn't much safety in the city. How worried the city mothers must be when it's long past school time and the children haven't yet arrived. After all, the real thing is not going on somewhere else. When you get there, you find life has doubled back and is waiting at the very place you ran away from. Right at home, North Dakota. Somehow good. Dear Editor, I believe some good has come of the Depression. It has brought a return to neighborliness among us rural folk. Not long ago, neighbors who had not been in our house for 10 years came to pay us a real old-time visit. Several times during the winter, crowds have helped one of the number celebrate an anniversary in good old-fashioned style. Some of the near middle-aged ones, who likely had not danced a step in years, had another try at it and apparently enjoyed themselves immensely. Even the younger set seems to be having more parties at home and fewer shows in town. In the lure of the city, we had all but lost our identity. I've seen more of my neighbors in the last 6 months than I had in as many years before. The facts are not to our credit, I know, but the estrangement was gradual, and we did not realize what was happening. We are all glad that we're being truly neighborly again, that we are learning once more the fine art of being friendly and helpful. Sociable, Nebraska. When I behold the heavens. Dear Editor, every 24 hours things happen which seem commonplace, but which are really miracles when we stop to analyze them. There are supposed to be only 7 wonders in the world, but there are untold thousands that are beyond man. Yesterday morning, a sphere, like a huge ball of flame, rose on the eastern horizon. No one gasped at the scene. No one stopped, stunned to ponder, because the sunrise is a commonplace occurrence. We scarcely notice it. In winter, soft crystals fall from the heavens and cover the ground like a blanket. But snow is no wonder, so they say. Toward the west, majestic mountains meet the eye. Can anyone explain the formation of those monuments to God? Of all the common wonders of the day, life is the most complicated. When we wish to speak, we shape our lips for sounds and a voice responds. When we wish to walk, a telegram goes from our minds where the idea originated to our limbs which obey. Life is a little four-letter word, yet what a wide range it covers. Supreme power must be back of such a marvel. A single revolution of the earth on its axis, the arrival of a snowflake, the giant hills, the everyday wonders like life, proclaim a God, ruler of the universe. What is man? Montana. Quittin' time. Dear Editor, the air was still, the shadows fell across the trodden lane, up which the weary old farm team and the dusty farmer came. Across the hill I faintly heard the whistling of a boy, as he came driving in the cows, his notes brimful of joy. The girls sang bringing in the eggs, the basket piled up high, and from the kitchen swept the scent of fresh-baked apple pie. The 4 o'clocks beside the door flung fragrance to the breeze. The glorious sun, a fiery ball, sank low behind the trees. They all came in, the lamps were lit, they washed and drew up chairs. To the table laden with wholesome food, they bowed and said their prayers. The poet may call it eventide, or closing of the day, but I just call it quittin' time, like all we farmers say. Call it a day, Indiana.